So, July 17th, that's a Sunday. It's 5 days before my son becomes a teenager. And I'm bringing home my 2-year-old from the hospital after having brain surgery. It was a lot for me. It took me months to, I could get through everyday life and whatnot, but it was a really difficult time. My mental health definitely took a pretty big hit with that. And when you go through traumas like this, where you have to, like Alora's like, she doesn't know what's happening. She doesn't know why, I got to take her to the OR. This was only the second time. All this COVID stuff, I got to take her to the OR. And I've got a nurse took a picture of us, and she let me take a picture of the bed where Alora was, which was pretty cool. It had like little tiny holes, like a air hockey table, and the warm air would come up and warm her body and everything. So then you get home and you've got to start dealing with all of it. When you're in the situation, you have to just keep pushing forward and deal with everything else later. So when you get home, you can start to decompress. You have to deal with life again. Everything was so overwhelming for me. I had school stuff for Alora to be dealt with in July, coordinating that for her IEP meeting. At 3 years old, children transfer to the school district for therapy. And I had just tons of paperwork for that, and all the post-op, appointments and monitoring, and I just couldn't even, I don't know. It was very lonely, and I just don't think that a person should have to beg for people to just come visit. Social media has changed relationships. It has enhanced relationships in some way, but some of these changes are pretty bad. So I'm just here alone with her, trying to start internalize, it's all been internalized during the process of the whole last week, and the shock of it all. And there's other stressors going on, that I was trying to manage as well, that were very extremely highly stressful for me, and just trying to keep a grip on life. And I fell behind because this whole last week has been a nightmare, and now I've got to go home and I've got to deal with everything and meet everyone's expectations and do all this paperwork, and it just became like a mental block for me. So I finally posted an ad because, heck, no one wants to really come visit. They want me to take her places, though. Oh, you can come over here. You can drop her off. That's not helpful. She needs to be at home. She doesn't need to be out and about. I don't know what's so hard for people to understand about that? She doesn't need to be out and about more. She needs to be at home recuperating. And her mother needs support. And, it wasn't there. And initially when I thought, when I got home, I thought, I will do this kind of video, to help myself through the process we've been through, to help myself deal with it. Because it is therapeutic for people to talk about traumas and grief and, all these sorts of things. And just having to deal with the thoughts that you could lose your child. I fought so hard 3 years ago just to get to a point where she would survive outside of the womb. And that wasn't definite. I didn't know for months if I was ever taking her home. I haven't processed that grief still. But I'm trying to do better for myself so I can do better for my kids, and confront these things. So it was, I questioned my value. I questioned, my value to people. I questioned relationships. It's a very difficult place to be. I just wanted to kind of close up and say, well, I guess these relationships I have don't mean as much to them as they do to me. And this is a familiar feeling, because I also had to do that while I laid in the hospital for months, just trying to survive. I was in heart failure. They gave my daughter a viability of 29 weeks before they thought that they could save her with the surgery that she had 3 years and 4 days ago today. So that was how she spent her first Halloween, was having her first surgery. So I'm here, I'm talking, I'm fighting. I am trying to not let invasive thoughts in and appreciate my value. I value myself. At times I haven't, but I'm trying to recover. I ended up posting on a community group because I didn't have the support that I thought I had in my relationships. And it just, mental clutter can really affect your productivity. And I was so completely overwhelmed. All I wanted was for someone to come and clean my floors, because she was crawling. She spends all of her time on the floor. She was taking steps, but having clean floors is very important for me because that's where she spends her time. This wonderful lady, Tracy, reached out, and she came, and it was such a blessing. And I'm not sure that she has any true depth of how much that helped me. So it was just like, if I can just have this done, the floor's vacuumed and mopped, I'm going to feel better. And Tracy is just, she was so sweet. It was so wonderful to have her spunky energy, and we've stayed in touch since then. So just having something simple done, it doesn't take that long to do all that. But I was quite overwhelmed. And I just, I've learned a lot about myself going through all this, and I know what's going to help me. So other people can't do paperwork for me, for instance, so I'm trying to, I wanted to just, okay, can you please just, I'm going to feel like a better mom if my floors are clean. And boy, did she clean them. So, the surgery that Alora had a 90% success rate for children over 2, 58% success rate for children under 2. Little Miss Muffet might be getting out of bed now. So obviously, I was quite optimistic. I thought, well, this rots that we have to do this, but this is the best possible outcome for her. And we went to our 2-week post-op, took off the bandage, which was 6 staples holding it in. And she had this little tiny, incision, and everything's great. And my pastor Fred came with, and it's just nice to not go through everything alone. So her next, well, let me back up a tiny bit, because it's relevant to the present times. A few days after we got home, she was not tolerating her feeds, and I apologize. This is kind of all over the place. I'm trying to not put out everything. I'm trying to just kind of highlight what is relevant to where we're at now. So she has to sleep in bed with me. She has a crib in my room, but that's still too far away to monitor her when she's being pump fed throughout the night. So she was in a bit of respiratory distress. She wasn't tolerating the feed. She was heaving it up. And so then that aspirates into her lungs. So sleepless, and I'm just exhausted, on top of everything else. I am just freaking exhausted. So, that's a lot of phone calls, multiple specialists involved. Second day, it happened again. During the day, I'm at the library to meet with with my oldest, with an advocate for sexual assault victims. Hello, lots of stress in my life. And this was something that happened a little over a year prior to July. But Alora is vomiting, and I'm sticking the extension onto her belly, and there's a syringe attached to that, and I'm unfeeding her. I'm pulling the milk out of her tummy so that she's not vomiting it up. So that's kind of a cool hack that normal people don't get to do, that don't have a G-tube. Took her home, monitoring her. She has a pulse ox machine, a big, where you tape it on them and everything. And I've got a stethoscope, and talked to all the teams again, because we'd already modified her feeding plan. And neurosurgery says you need to call an ambulance and have her brought right down. So That was July 20th. So this is 4 days after, 3 days after we got home. And she had an unsedated brain MRI. Hello, trauma, my dear old friend. That was absolutely horrible for her and I. Somebody's awake. So we went home again, recuperate again. She did not have to be admitted, fortunately. Because of everything we've gone through, I have a little bit more of than a basic level of knowledge. I know what I can handle at home, and when it's out of my capabilities. So her lungs look clear, have the signs to watch for, yada yada. So to the present, she had another unsedated brain MRI a week ago Monday. Really impressed. I love them. Hi, it's a boopsie baby. You got your extension. Every Tubi baby's best friend is their extension. You want to talk with mommy? She's carrying this around. This is out of her G-Tube kit that she opened yesterday. Yes. She's had specialist appointments, one every week, the last 3 weeks. Also, 3 weeks ago, it was pulmonology. Last week, it was the follow-up, 3-month follow-up brain MRI, followed by neurosurgeon appointment. Yesterday was GI. We did the brain MRI. It was not pleasant. That's so pretty. Hi. She was working to be more aware of what was going on this time than last time, so it was better in that way rather than just the blood-curdling screams. But yeah. So, I said over 2 years old, this surgery she had has a 90% success rate. Mommy's glasses. Someone has to fall in that 10%, and one of those people is Miss Alora. The surgery that we had done in July, it did not work. We haven't seen any signs that it had worked. However, at 90% success rate, one is quite optimistic, right? So, I've been waiting. It's Friday now. I've been waiting almost 2 weeks for a call for her next admission. And, so now she's got to go through more. Her admission will be an intracranial pressure test, which is another surgery. They will go in through the same area they used before, and they will place a little sensor, and for 1 to 2 days they will monitor her pressure inside her brain. Depending on the results from that, it sounds like the only option, if her pressures are high, is to do a shunt. So if that happens, it's pretty likely that it would happen during the same admission. She's already in the hospital. They have IV access. She's already had the COVID test. Yada, 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 yada. So, we have a bathing protocol that we have to follow. Do you want to come up? It's a chlorhexidine soap. Here's my nap time buddy. and I need to bathe her in that for 5 days plus the day of surgery, and also some nasal drops. She is a carrier of it's called MSSA, and it like can turn into MRSA. So anyway, with this type of, you know, surgery and stuff, like, this is not something that you want to get into your brain. So the good thing is I have to know about it like a week in advance, you know. So so I can do this bathing protocol. So I do the bath for 5 days before her surgery date, give her the bath the morning of, and then the nasal drops I do for 5 days before, but not the morning of. So I guess that's the good news, is I can't get it dropped on me like 2 days beforehand, you know. So she'll go through that, and also, you know, the COVID test 72 hours in advance, yada yada. I feel like I'm gonna merry-go-round sometimes. So that's where things are at now. Are you looking? Are you looking? So that's what we've been up to. We have had a lot of fun in the last 3 months. We've had some trials, but we've had a lot of fun. We've had some positive changes in our life. It's not all doom and gloom, but this is, you know, a hard thing for me. It's even harder without the supports I thought I had. So I do have some wonderful supports. I have worked towards advocating for myself more. So right now my goal is to I mean the last 3 days have been 72 degrees. This is Wisconsin. It's November. Meteorologists said this is the hottest start to November since 1938. So today it is 60. It is pouring rain outside. I did take Alora out in her little hiker sandals and her rain jacket today for a few minutes. Might get that video up, I don't know. But my prerogative here is like, okay, all done. All done. She's got the remote. She's trying to put a pin in. Thank you. Let's see. Am I gonna do it? There we go. It's all valid. I have been working towards getting some things done that I know have a waiting period. Alora's also been declared a homebound student, so she will not be going to the school for anything. The therapies will have to happen at the home. I've contacted the Early Head Start program about the home visiting program. A teacher will come for an hour and a half each week and work with her. So I got that application done a couple days ago. Thank you. It's so pretty. And there's like a wait list, and it takes a few weeks for them to get back to you. So, and then there's just the other nonsense that has happened. Like, we lost her feeding and speech therapist. That was a dirty deal by the hospital. And then her PT transferred to a different health organization. So we're very happy for her, but now she's lost 2 of her therapists. She lost birth to 3, you know, because she turned 3 in October. So there's been a lot of changes with that. I also have to hold people accountable to do their jobs. The school district, since getting the homebound student Department of Public Instruction form, they have not reached out to revise her IEP. So they don't, she's not supposed to go to the school for anything because of all of her medical stuff, medical complexities. They're kind of dragging their feet. It should be just a short Zoom meeting. So, because we already have, you know, the bones of it there, but it's a location change. So I feel like it should be like a 15-minute Zoom meeting. So it's just kind of annoying to have to hold different places accountable. I'm pretty upset with the local hospital and their decision making on various topics. I'm gonna put Mama's glasses on. So pretty. So I'm just trying to get things done, so I don't have anything pressing to focus on whenever she's out. So I guess that's about it for now. Just kind of hopeful that this doesn't fall over Thanksgiving at this point that she's in. If it does, it does, you know. So, well, thank you for watching. I'm going to try to go back in time and upload some of our fun and some not so fun videos from the last few months. I just haven't been into it. There's been so many moving parts. Like, I'm only gonna do this when I feel up for it. Like, I think it's gonna be, honey, come here. Come here. Come here. Don't squeeze them. Come here. Up. She doesn't understand. All done. All done. All done. Put it down, please. She doesn't understand. Thank you. It's so pretty. So pretty. I love it. So I'm just been plugging away at home, trying to take care of some projects, get the season switched over. You got a droopy diaper there, Bubsy. I see a little butt cheek crack. Yes, we gotta change your diaper. She brought me wipes. Because I know that the more I can do in advance, the less stress I'll have afterwards. I know that it helps me get through it all if I don't have... Thank you. Wow, it's a cool wipe. Have all this mental clutter bogging me down. There we go. You got one. Mommy got the rest. Yep, we're going to change your diaper. So, that's how I am helping myself. Sorry for the lighting. Alora covered the light with her array of balloons. So, it's going to be okay. I'm going to make it the best I can, but I am not going to continue to devalue myself, discount my emotions, because not too many people know what it's like to live this life. So there's some, I try to just post all this happy stuff, but I feel like I need to be realistic too. Come here, butt cheek. I see your baby butt cheek. At least it's not a poopy butt cheek. Well, thank you for watching, and I'll be in touch. Hopefully sooner than later. Goodbye.